Welcome to the Handicappers, your Sunday morning kickoff show where we tackle your NFL lines out in the desert, a 61.2% win rate over the last 6 years. Against the spread, over, under, money line, you name it. And we dive into the world of fantasy football, year-long and your DFS payouts. Your only true Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy, and your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers. Welcome to the Handicappers. Do you watch the NFL Fantasy Live show, by the way?
No.
Terrible.
Not really.
Terrible.
No.
They got one guy on there that's done it for a while, the bald guy. Forget his name. Forgive me. I like him. He's decent.
Adam Rank.
Yeah. He knows. I'm not saying I necessarily go by his advice, but I will say this. He's not a total idiot, right?
Right.
The other two he had on the show last night with him, and I don't even count the host, because this host, you can tell they pulled out of, this guy probably last week was doing the weather or something. Like, he didn't see the two girls that he had on there. I was like, okay, cool. I don't mind. I love to see women play fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
And they get on there, and one of them keeps referencing what people did in college, and that was her sleeper team, her breakout team.
Jeez.
Like, you can't have a breakout team when the guy hasn't done anything in year one to break out from. The hell are you talking about? And she goes, if he can get this many yards on a 12-game schedule at Alabama, can you imagine what Najee Harris is going to do on a 17-game schedule? Well, he's not going to play Vanderbilt, baby girl. Okay. Yeah. His offensive line isn't going to outweigh their defensive line by an average of 150 pounds per player. So it's just terrible. It's the only reason why I have it on is because it's the only show that comes on like regular TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get motivated enough to go over to ESPN Plus to watch Matthew Berry's show, because the stupid puppets that come in are just absolutely asinine.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the puppets. I've been lauded on the show with good reason for my love for Matthew Berry, because he's the fantasy godfather.
That draft sounds on. Mute him because it gives a bad feedback.
Yeah, I just muted it. Sorry, my bad.
Well, I think
that was me for once.
Came in the room too, so I just wonder. All right, so Steven grabbed McCaffrey. I was definitely going to get Cook. This is the first time I had Cook all year, so
it's always nice to have a Seminole.
That, and I do like to diversify my teams a little bit. I don't like to go just all in on. And feel free to narrate this too, man, because I'm trying to do 6 things.
Yeah, I'm looking at where I'm going to fall. I mean, I'm going to have 8's an interesting spot, because if it goes according to plan, the top 7 picks are going to be running backs. That's been what's been happening in most leagues. So, I'm going to find myself in a situation where I'm going to have to just go best player available, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So, Devontae Adams it is for me.
So you went Adams?
Yep, I went Adams, because once those top, I think there's clearly a line of belief after the first 7 running backs, where after that there's you're getting into your instincts and how you believe people will perform this year.
I'm definitely going Adams before I even think about Jonathan Taylor.
Yep. Yeah, that's a given.
He's next up there.
Taylor's the next guy to get COVID, the way things are going on in Indianapolis. But
who was oh yeah, I got screwed. Bogarts, Xander Bogarts got COVID.
Oh, Lord.
Thanks for waiting for the playoffs to get that, you jerk off. I should have went around to all my fantasy baseball players 3 weeks ago and started jabbing them. And then come back 2 weeks later and jab them again. Who is
I'm up again? I bet
giving me a shot.
I've actually got a whole minute to talk about this. So,
hey, Doug's in here. Doug, how are you?
Good. How you
And Doug, I don't know if you heard me, but if you do have sounds on your draft, just mute them because it'll give like a bad feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Which means we have to pay attention to. You're coming up in 2 picks. Sean's picking now. I'm going to try to navigate back and forth, but I'm also trying to draft myself. And this isn't a mock, and we're playing for the trophy. I'll show the trophy after we get done here. But when we get deeper in the draft, I'm going to click back and forth and show you the people who are in the draft room. I'm going to show you who they're drafting. Or I'm sorry, who they have drafted. Excuse me. There's no real sense of doing it after once. So you got Gibson. So you got a receiver and a running back, right?
Yep.
Gibson and Adams. I know you were big on Gibson. So check out the one. So it got moved back to tonight because they did end of month inventory last night. So it got moved back tonight. But I'm in one. Sean, I can't remember if I've talked to you about this, but I'm in one tonight. 4 points for touchdowns for a quarterback. No bonus yards. But it is a full point PPR, which I found strange that it's standard as hell, but it's a full point PPR. And it's a 12-man league, so the pickings.
That's deep.
Yeah, pickings are going to be slim. So I'm going to let them. Crap in their own mess kit is what my game plan is. I'm going to let them. There's going to be some idiots going on a quarterback run. I don't care about the quarterback. To be honest with you, 4 points per guy. Screw them.
I think the quarterback, just in general in fantasy, unless the rules of your league dictate that he has added value, have been completely marginalized because there's so many guys throwing for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns now. That's not, that was the greatest show on turf year. Kurt Warner was like 3,500 yards and like 35 touchdowns, which was the bellwether forever in fantasy. And now it's just like, everybody does that. So
I just took Justin Jefferson. I've got Dalvin Cook, and it comes back to me again. And I'm going to get a guy I haven't had in any league. I don't believe if I did, it's only like in one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm so on the fence here. Could really piss off Doug and grab Darren Waller, but I already got him in that one league, and I don't know if I want to go all tight endy this early. I think I'm going to go Metcalf. I'm going to bank on the fact that the kid just gets better and better. What do you have? 1,300 yards last year?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. I have not had
very good.
If I do have him, I don't remember getting him which means it would have been in that drunk draft, that Friday night drunk draft.
Hey, I'm going to ask Doug the same question I asked you, Doug. When you're drafting fantasy teams, do you try and avoid taking the same guys over and over in leagues? Like when you're watching games on Sunday, do you not want to have conflicts of interest? Because McGee and I were talking, and on Sundays, I'm a fan, right? I watch the Lions first and foremost, and honestly, free plug for the Handicappers on Sundays. I care more about the spread and my bets for money than fantasy as much.
By the way, Sean, while I don't mean to cut you off, Doug. In the next hour, if you get a chance to look at the betting lines, grab a college football betting line for the weekend. Okay. I should have given you some heads up on this, but if you don't grab one, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I am going to take Florida State plus 9.5 points. I called that a few weeks ago. Now it's starting to go down, but I'm taking Florida State plus 9.5. We will do these stupid underdog picks starting on the weekend of the 11th and 12th, but that's what's going on with that.
I would expect far more of me jumping on the Saturday show this year, just to, I don't know, take little pot shots at Agolini here and there.
Fair enough. And it is starting a half hour later. We're going to be doing that at 8:30. I know in years past, y'all, we've done it at 8 o'clock. But considering the Monday through Friday show is 8:30, I'm like, I'm not trying to confuse people. So we're going to go 8:30 Monday through Saturday. And the Saturday show will run till probably about 90 minutes because 3 out of 4 weeks a year, a month, Tones is going to be with us. He's a Big Ten fan, and we're going to do Big Ten on that last segment. We're going to start off with SEC, ACC, and do Big Ten. So
you're gonna have to have me jump on for that. we'll go deep on Iowa, Illinois.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime, man. You know, it's an open invitation. Just jump on in. We do it really loose. It's kind of like with the NFL show. I don't like people have to do a lot of homework. It's just, you know, you watch college football, come on in, you know, and let's do this.
Right.
We won't be doing it this week because I'm out of town. I don't know what kind of Walmart Wi-Fi I'm going to be working off of, but I'm going to try to do a pop-up show Saturday morning in Nashville, but I can't guarantee that. But the 11th and 12th, I cannot wait. It's my busiest time of the year. It's my one most fun time of the year. So it's coming back to me. I need to look and see who have I drafted. I've got 3 dudes.
Doug, we cut you off. Go ahead and answer my question.
I'm sorry.
Do you pay much attention to how you have the same guys or conflicts of interest, or is it just you watch football as a fan?
No, I always watch for conflict of interest because, like last year, I had just to give an example. Last year, I think I had McCaffrey in like 2 or 3 leagues, and those are 2 or 3 leagues that were screwed. So no, I try not to draft the same in any 2 leagues at all.
That's interesting. I didn't realize. I just went and looked it up. I actually have Gibson in all 3 leagues I've done so far. So boy, he goes down in week 1, I'm in trouble.
So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It happens though. I mean, you've got a mindset of who.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then because I've done that this year, but it's been totally by accident because I have my preset mind. This is who I want, and if it comes up, you don't think about it. Then you look back later and you're like, yeah, like having Waller. I've got Waller in 2 or 3 leagues this year. So
right.
So I crapped in my mess kit. Man, they went on a running back run, and I had to get into Miles Sanders.
Oh no, you hate him.
I could do Gus Edwards, but my fear is the guy's never carried more than about 10 to 12 times a game. And am I going to put all that eggs in my second running back basket? I'd rather just get some depth and worry about that later, because that's going to be a nightmare. That's just going to be an absolute. I'm not going to lie, that's going to be a nightmare, dude. If you're out there running Gus Edwards out there every week and he's not your flex, that could be some issues. Stevens drafting back to back. Let's see what his team looks like. He did grab Edwards. So he's got Edwards in his flex, but he's got Harrison McCaffrey, so that's not a big issue with him. I would think he's probably going to go with the wide receiver. He's only got 1 wide receiver right now, and my guess is he's going to go either wide receiver or he's going to go a top tight end, because there are some tight ends available. I don't know. I can't imagine he's going to go. I don't like going quarterback till like 7th, 8th round, man. Let other people waste their picks on him.
Yep.
Let the Joseph Matchless and the Christian Nifty auto draft them. Joseph Matchless, that's Joey. He's auto drafting again.
Lord.
I hate people that auto draft. I can't stand
it. Drives me crazy. I've never once done it.
So
even if I'm working,
he did.
Even if I'm working, I got my laptop in front of me. I don't want to get hosed.
With let's see where we got running backs at. There really is bottom of the barrel at running backs at this point. Wide receivers. I'm going to take a risk on DJ Moore. Reason why, I was looking at their schedule. They've got one of the more favorable schedules, and so I'll take
very much do
DJ Moore. And I don't have any shares of him, so I figure I'd go a little off the beaten path. My running backs are going to stink in this league, but that's okay because my receivers should be really good. And I'm assuming, Christian's nifty team or Will's auto drafting too.
Oh Lord,
he just hasn't peeled his ass out of bed, is what that's about. Because that dude ain't working at 8:30 in the morning. I can tell you that right now, man. He's not working. He stayed up too late playing World of Warcraft.
It's funny because it's true.
I mean, just at this point when they're auto drafting like this, why do we have to wait this many seconds, dude? Just let it auto draft. Go at like 5, bam, bam. Doug went and grabbed Andrews, so he
got to get my tight end.
That's what he said.
So I'm gonna grab someone really quick that's I think a little divisive, but I think his fantasy value just went through the roof in the last couple of days. Damian Harris.
Yeah, that was the other guy that I was thinking about. My only caveat with that is we hear this every year. Oh man, you really need to focus on some New England something, and it ends up being garbage because Belichick does not check with you before he makes his play rotation every week. You know, he doesn't go, "Don't worry, man, he's gonna get 20 carries." He goes, "I don't care what the hell you think. I'm gonna grab this guy off the practice squad, and he's gonna catch 3 swing passes for a touchdown."
Yeah,
It should be though. You're right. You're right. It should be, and I think I'm planning on earmarking him for tonight's draft because it's a standard league. If he goes a little late, it's such a deep league too. But you're right. I agree. He should have a good year.
You mentioned the NFL Fantasy Live show. My second pick, I'm going to mention somebody that I think is a consensus bandwagon guy coming into the year. I think they're very underrated as an offense, and their defense is going to be so good. I think they're going to stare at some short fields. So I'm going to take Jerry Jeudy. He was impressive in limited time last year with a real garbage quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater, for all of his faults, is a professional quarterback. He ain't throwing a lot of 50-yard bombs. I'm aware of that, but he ain't turning the ball over either. And he throws a pretty 15-yard out. Judy's just a filthy athlete. And Tyrann Mathieu aside, that's not a division where I'm worried about the corners. So, gimme.
Yeah, I would think what I'm probably going to do on my next pick is I'll probably have to go get a running back, even though there's nothing left there out there to be excited about. But I need to get some depth. So
yeah.
I'm going to pull up the running backs and just see what is even out there. See, there's nothing out there to go, ooh, look at there. No. It's more like, oh, no, look at there.
Let me ask you a question. Not that anybody's sponsored anything, but what's your spread application of choice or website? What's your favorite? Do you still use MyBookie AG, or do you have, because I've been kind of poking around a couple different ones.
I like hold on a second. It's my turn. I'm going to go ahead and take the risk on the rookie running back in Denver, Javonte Williams.
Love it.
I like the fact that he's the only one left on the board that is absolutely positively going to be the starter.
Yeah.
Back to your point. I also need to check. I never do this, but I need to check everyone's damn bye week. God, how many times have I done that? Okay, well, it actually looks decent this time. But I do betus.com quite a bit. Never had an issue with them. My bookie, man, they just have ridiculous rollovers. Now, if it becomes illegal to bet here, I'm going to go to the MGM Grand because they have, that's essentially what I'll be with, because the Seminole Indian tribe has signed a deal that when it becomes legal to go with, they're going to use MGM Grand's application to filter through them. All right, let me see. It's
gotcha.
What do I have here? I've got. All right, so I kind of need a quarterback and I kind of need a tight end, but I bet there's nothing but garbage left at tight end. Yeah. So all those guys are interchangeable. Running backs. I'm going to take a risk on old Mozart, man. He's definitely going to be the starter. And I was reading something yesterday that says that he is going to get the lion's share of the load. The biggest question with him always is, can he stay healthy?
Yep.
And so
they open with the Lions, which as the panel's resident Lions fan, I can tell you will get run all over. Question is, will it be him or Sermon doing it, really?
Yeah, Dak Prescott just went to a auto draft.
Will.
Yeah.
That stinks.
That's
I really like that.
It sucks now, but it's going to be great later when they're drafting kickers and defenses. You know, in the rounds.
We don't have kickers in this league. I love it.
Oh,
Keep
I'm
it on.
sorry. Defenses. Maybe it'll load up on defenses.
So at this point, I'm kind of staring down depth because I got Adams, Judy, Gibson, James Robinson, Kittle, Damian Harris. So I've got one more flex spot to fill. And, we've already had the quarterback conversation. So it's really kind of, I'm kind of in best player available situation here. And for my money, best player available on the board is Crazy Hair himself, Menace to Society head, Robbie Anderson. I actually am interested in how that offense looks because I think for whatever reason, stuff didn't work out last year. But I liked Arnold.
I don't mean to cut you off, but the same thing, Robbie Anderson's going to have a very favorable wide receiver schedule the entire year. I had not really looked at it until last night because I'm going to be in this ridiculous PPR league. And I was like, man, I've got to find an edge somewhere. And it's a big buy, much bigger buy-in than my wife originally thought. So things just got super serious around here. We're supposed to be up at the butt crack of dawn to catch a plane tomorrow morning. And I'm going to be drafting till all hours of the night because I'm like, she's like, well, I can get you out of it. I was like, we've already made a commitment. I was like, I'm just going to be dog ass tired. It's like, it's just the way it's going to be that first day. We're going to arrive in Nashville at like 6:30 in the morning. So
oh God.
We can't even log, check into our hotel or Airbnb until 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, man, we're going to have to call them and say, dude, can you let a brother in and take a nap? You know what I mean?
This is going to be a real divisive pick because there's quarterbacks more highly rated on the board, but I'm going to go ahead and grab one. And I don't know. I like him. Don't ask me why. I think he's going to get rushing yards and probably some cheap touchdowns this year.
I don't like him that much, but I might end up with him tonight because I'm going to be looking for quarterbacks that can run into the end zone. You know what I mean?
Yep. And he's that.
Dude, I don't want the guy who's going to sling it because I got to get 3 touchdowns every time a running back scores 2.
Yep.
And like I said, there's no bonus points, which is just dumbfounding. And it's on the NFL website.
You hate that.
It's terrible. It's trash. I did 3
Never used it
yesterday. The sound thing that I always mute on here when we come on here, it does not work on their website. So I'm gonna have to draft off the phone, which is just terrible. You can't navigate. There's no player updates like they have on Yahoo, like this kind of stuff. None of that. It's unbelievable. So I'm gonna have to sit out here and get something. I'm looking at. See what's the best running backs available. Probably a bunch of junk. Best wide receivers available. Nothing outstanding. But I'm going to go ahead and get a little more depth on the running back side because, man, I'll tell you what. It's so tempting to grab A.J. Dillon, but how many carries is he really going to get a week? I'll. You know what? What the hell? I do not own Ronald Jones at all. I'll go ahead and give him a try. I told myself today that I wanted to draft guys that I don't have on other teams because I'd like to have a little difference coming to this team as opposed to others. I've done all right. I drafted most, like I said, I wanted to. I forgot this was a 2 flex league. So when I was making this thing out, I mean, this is wishful dreaming. None of these dudes were going to be available. Tell you what, Captain Auto drafts are going to be in trouble because they're going to be getting like 3 tight ends, two quarterbacks.
That's why you don't auto draft.
The first time that you get a, some bye weeks and everything like that, it's going to be a nightmare.
It's going to hurt. Big time.
Resting. I know people keep trying to talk me into, oh man, Chase is going to be phenomenal. I'm like, did that dude drop 4 of 5 targets? 4 of 5 in the I mean, no thank
He's in his head. He's got the yips.
He was never what was considered a great receiver at LSU. He was a great athlete.
Yep.
Justin Jefferson was always the guy that they went to in crunch time. Let me see here. So it's going to come to me. Steven's got one more pick. See what he's got right now. He's got his full team, so he's looking for depth at this point. I've got to figure out. Like I said, I don't know, man. There's some interesting players still out there.
Yep.
Well, Tannehill, man, getting COVID. Get the jab, son. What the hell are you doing?
I'm confused about. My wife asked me about that. She's like, "Isn't Vrabel vaccinated?" I'm like, "He's supposed to be, because they've been making coaches retire and go into administrative roles who didn't want to get the jab." So I was under the impression Vrabel was double vaxxed, but he's a Buckeye, so probably not.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and grab Juju. What the hell?
You can do a lot worse at this point in the draft. I mean,
and look, you have to be realistic. He is what he is. He's a possession receiver at this point in his career. He's not a guy that's going to go out and he's not the focal point of the offense. It's realistically Deontay Johnson. They'll probably be working chase pulling a lot, but he kind of is what he is, and I'm okay with that. If I know he's on my bench, right? I'm going, that's my wide receiver too. Let's go. I'm like, oh no.
Whoops.
This better be a 34-man league.
All right, it's back to me. Man, I'm a lot higher on this guy than most of the projections are. I don't think this team's going to be very good, but I just think his volume is going to be so high. I mean, he was targeted in 60% of their throws in the preseason from Wilson.
Corey Davis.
I don't know. Give me all the Corey Davis you can handle.
Yeah, you got another pick, and Doug. Let's see what Doug's team's looking like. So he's got his whole team filled out. He's got a pretty good team. He's even got his quarterback. What quarterbacks are available? Yeah, I mean those guys are all interchangeable.
Yep. You can stream any of those guys. I did see a nice Derek Carr stat yesterday that'll make Doug feel good. 3rd and 6 or longer in the final 4 minutes of a half or the final 4 minutes of a game. He's actually Carr is the number 1 rated quarterback in all of football in the last 3 years in that metric. And I know that's very, specific, but that's pretty nuts because I don't think of him as being that good, but.
Well, the good news for Doug is Carr says he's going to play another 15 years.
That's not that good.
What are you talking about?
No, I mean, I never understood. Carr always gets knocked. Oh, he's a terrible quarterback. But you look at, like you were just quoting, statistically,
he's decent, man. He's not terrible at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's a decent quarterback. But even Raiders fan, you go online to one of our websites that we talk about. I've never had so many Raider fans talking about, oh, we got to get rid of them. They thought they were going to get Aaron Rodgers, all these rumors and all. And I'm like, I don't understand the hate for him.
With all that being said, Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Raiders. He's gone.
Right. Exactly.
But
I know, but it was just such a terrible rumor is all I'm trying to say.
There might be 5 guys in the NFL where Aaron Rodgers wouldn't take your job. So that is what it is.
Yeah, but Raiders would have to give up practically half their draft.
No, he's going to be a free agent. That was the deal that they made.
Oh, okay.
That they wouldn't try to, stop him from leaving per se. Either that, or it was that I can't remember now. Maybe it was that he was going to, that if he still wants to be traded, that they would actively pursue a trade.
Oh, okay.
been a few weeks back, and I feel like I saw like 4 different reports that contradicted themselves. But
I don't think anybody knows. Sometimes I wonder if even he knows.
God, are there any running backs even left? Nope. Leonard Fournette, dude. I just, people ask me about that dude, but I'm like, dude, I'm telling you right now, the one guy I'm gonna take a chance on. Why not Michael Carter? Right? Like, why not the rookie? I think he's gonna get the most volume in that offense.
I looked up their backfield projections earlier. I mean, I guess their Salah's really high on Tevin Coleman for some reason, which makes sense because he was with him in San Francisco.
Right.
But Coleman's been around the league. Coleman's like the poor man's Matt Breida. He's been around the league for years. We've all streamed him once here or there. He was in Atlanta. And
I've always looked at Michael Carter as very comparable to Williams out in Denver. When they were in college together, I always thought that Michael Carter was really good and he catches well out of the backfield. I'm willing to bet on him, I guess is my point. There's not someone that I'm going to go, man, look at the rest of the running backs that are left. There's garbage out there.
It's not great.
Not going to be pretty in this juncture. So I've got Fuller and Chanot just went off the board. And
getting interesting.
I'm going to take this dude because it's a really deep draft. And I don't care what they say. That was the best running back in Houston last year. And they didn't bring anything in that scares me.
Braver man than me. I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that team with a 1,000-foot pole. They're all going to be in FBI interviews for the first 4 weeks of the season.
I'm not that worried about it, man. I just, it is what it is.
True. They are professional players and they do need, they do need to earn that paycheck.
See, Doug's team's coming up. He's looking for bench. Oh, Doug's already went in defense. Country Roads is so that's right. You did grab a quarterback. I was thinking you hadn't gotten one yet. Like at this point, I'm like, what's the point, man? Like, do I even have to start a do I have to start a quarterback?
All right. Looking at the landscape here. Boy, it's slim pickings.
Yes, it is.
Out there, you're really just taking gut instincts at this point. I'm going to grab a very, I guess, divisive player would be the best way to describe this gentleman. But he's one hamstring injury away from being the number one on the greatest offense in the league. So give me McCole Hardman.
As you say, I've had a lot of cups of coffee with that SOB. No thank you.
Yep. You got to have him. He's the AFC MVS. You got Marquez Valdes-Scantling in Green Bay. Same thing. If you got him in your lineup the week he goes for 8 for 110 and 2 touchdowns, good for you. But more often than not, it's driving you crazy that he's on your bench when he does that.
Where's Brian?
Hey.
Brian not have a team? I thought Brian had a team.
Is that Bobby's notable or is that somebody else?
That's Bobby.
Okay. That would make sense.
I guarantee you it's the same situation I had with another league where I send these invitations out. They don't click on it, and then it is what it is. But whatever. One of the guys that's in the Nashville draft, he was telling us the other night that he didn't have I sent him the damn link. He just didn't click on it. So when I start seeing these names fill up, I'm in so many leagues. You think I can keep track? I keep track of who I've sent the invitation to. I can't keep track of who accepted the damn thing.
I don't think this is going to break Doug's heart, but I'm curious to see what Doug thinks of this pick. I don't know what Gruden's thinking because I think Josh Jacobs is a top 10 running back, but he went and spent a lot of money on bringing this guy in, and Kenyon Drake's just sitting there. I don't know.
In the offense they're going to run this year, I mean, pretty much where he's ranked is where he's going to play. Barring injury from Jacobs, Kenyon Drake is going to be that that passing and blocking
change of pace.
Yeah.
He is a good receiver out of the backfield, which is something that I don't think people realize about him. He had one game against the I think it was the Cowboys last year where he won a lot of people their fantasy league that week because he went for like 2 bills and a couple touchdowns. And a lot of that was late in garbage time where he was just breaking 70 yarders. But he's a guy that if you get him out on a wheel route against a linebacker, he could get you a 70. You know, he could be the AFC McKissick this year if they put him in the right packages. I'm just saying he's got the talent to do that.
Now the thing is with him, he can be a total bust or not even play at all.
Oh yeah.
If we can find if the Raiders can if Ruggs or Edwards becomes at least a halfway decent wide receiver 1, then you're not going to see that as much. Now, with that said, if they don't, then Kenyon Drake will figure more into the passing game.
Yep.
On certain downs.
I had to run out in the middle of this rainstorm this morning because so I hop off the treadmill and it starts pouring as I'm setting up the show. I'm like, what the hell? And I look out my pool. I was like, damn, that thing's kind of full as it is. And I look at the radar and go, oh my God, I'm not dealing with the flood. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and grab a Gesicki. Tua sucks so bad that he can find the tight end. That's the way I look at that, man. He's a special kind of terrible. And I'm going to go ahead and grab Michael Thomas at this point because what the hell, why not?
Yep. Even if it's week 10, that's right around playoff time. It's a good time to have him.
I've got this feeling he's going to be one of these dudes that just doesn't play all year. Every time I draft a guy like this and you're like, oh man, he'll be back by week 6, week 8, week 10. You're like, that's okay. That's when I want him. And then they just don't do a damn thing. Like, oh, well, they're going to be on a snap count because they didn't get any training camp. So we hope to have him ready by the playoffs in week 18.
Yeek.
I've already noticed.
My turn is next.
Let's see. I've already noticed a bunch of teams are out there like double drafting because they're auto drafting positions that you don't need 2 of. So there'll be a lot of drops too after this draft. So that you can look at that too. When you see a team that's auto drafting, you're like, dude, man, there's no defenses, or in some leagues, there's no kickers. It's like, dude, they're going to be dropping them left and right as soon as they wake up and get out of the auto draft. They're like, screw this guy, screw this guy, screw this guy. You're cool. Screw this guy.
Very interested in how everybody feels about this pick, but I think Belichick's gonna lean pretty heavy on this guy with a rookie quarterback. But we'll see if I'm right. I think he's being drafted very low.
You need to tell us who it is that you're drafting, because
John. I thought you'd see it. Sorry, I thought you had it up. Jonnu Smith in New England. I think Henry's going to do more blocking.
I can't see who you drafted until I click over to your team.
Gotcha. Sorry.
I'm interested now that it's not terrible Cam Newton out there. Dude, ESPN are in denial. They are in denial. Did you watch any of that junk yesterday? When he was released,
nope,
they came out. They're like, well, Belichick is doing this because he wants to give Cam Newton a chance to go start for another game. He's not starting for anybody. I mean, maybe the Texans, maybe the Colts. He's not starting for anyone who's got a quarterback.
Nope.
He sucks. He's so bad at this point in his career. He's never recovered from the injuries, and he was a guy that literally he was a bigger version of RG3. Once that running ability that threat was gone, he was gone. He did freak everybody out that one Sunday night last year. Was that week 2, week 3, something like that, when he went crazy against Seattle? Everyone was like, "Oh man, what did I do? I didn't draft that guy."
He had 8 touchdowns. He had 8 passing touchdowns for the year last year, and if you actually break it down, he had 6 of them in 2 games.
Right.
So it's you and I had a text yesterday, and I said everything I've ever said about Cam. He was the blueprint for large quarterbacks running RPOs with Chiswick at Auburn. That's how they won their national title. But he was never a good thrower of the ball or really a calculated quarterback mentally, even in college and especially in his first couple of years in the league. They got to that Super Bowl based on his athletic ability. So once he got a couple of injuries, it was going to be over, and especially to the shoulder. I mean, that's night. We saw what that did to Chad Pennington's career. He went from throwing, 91 to throwing underhand softball in a restaurant league, literally, in the course of 2 years.
So I've got essentially 4 picks left. This is around the time that I usually like to go for the quarterback. So I'm probably going to go for best quarterback available. Not a whole lot out there, but there are some interesting players that are out there. So I'll just have to see what takes place. Wouldn't it be something if Ben Roethlisberger had a resurgence? That team is set up to pass the ball. Like, he's so tempting to take, but you're like, oh man, maybe I draft you and start you for 3 weeks and start looking on the waiver wire to see who I want to start the rest of the year. That's when you're going to hit the wall. That was a really good team, by the way, for half the season, over half the season last year.
They were undefeated. Weren't they 11-0?
Yeah, it was at least 10-0. I think you're right. I think they might have been 11-0. And a lot of it was on Ben Roethlisberger's arm. And then, dude, Roethlisberger went into cheeseburger mode and just fell off the planet. I think I'm going to end up grabbing one of these phenom rookies with my next pick, depending on who's there. Trey Lance and Justin Fields. I figure by midway through the season, one of them is going to be doing some damage, and it just depends on who Tom ends up taking. But Lance, man, I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback, but he might be a great fantasy quarterback. He might be the guy that's like, dude, what the hell was I doing? And I've drafted Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins, but I'm going to take my safe bet and go with Justin Fields.
It's a safe bet. Over or under week 4 before he's the starter. They play the Lions in week 4. I think that's his first start. I think they'll be 1-2 out of the box. And
first half of on September 12th. He'll be coming
really. Oh wow!
Like, okay. We're down 21-0. Andy Dalton, you stupid redheaded bastard, get out of the way. I'm just taking that risk that and then I'm just going to stream quarterbacks until then. I'll figure out quarterbacks. I don't worry about that. If I've got an okay team across, I've got a really good receiving core. I've got an okay running back core, but it gets elevated because I do have Dalvin Cook, right? But by the way, his handcuff's not worth handcuffing. I've had my spills with Madison, and it's just not worth it, man. He's not any good. You deplete your roster just to keep hoping that he's gonna, because he had that flash in the pan like 2 years ago where he had like 2 games, and then that was it. So I got to look at this right now. So in my flex, it's even. Okay. So my bottom of it, I've got 3 running backs and 2 receivers. That's actually better than I thought I had done. I thought I'd gone straight running back whore. So I'm going to go to my next pick here in a second. See the best receivers available. Yeesh. Steven loves him some Darnell Mooney, but he's auto drafting right now, so maybe he's not going to take him. How many more times are we going to be tricked by Evan Ingram?
0 for me.
Yeah.
Dirty bastard. He's watching. What the hell did I do to you? You did plenty. You did plenty, sir. Let's see here. All right, so it's my pick again, and we've got this. Could just go another quarterback and get that out of the way because I got to draft somebody. Looking at what the hell with it. Give me Mac Jones.
Do worse.
Going rookie on the quarterback front. And then I'll just stream if Mac Jones is terrible in the first week. I'll just stream it. I'm not worried about it. There's so many quarterbacks that could be. Are they going to produce like Josh Allen and all those guys? No, but I'll take my chance. I kept saying I wanted Mac Jones on one of my teams, so this will be the team. Mac Jones from right around the corner from my house goes to Alabama, wins the national championship, now is playing for Bill Belichick. I think he's in his perfect system. He's never going to blow anything up, but I think he's a guy that could be worth a little over 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns each game. Looking at the other quarterbacks who are available, I'm sorry, man. I know Matt Ryan likes to. I just think he's old, and interceptions are going to be around. If what's his name ends up sucking, I could always stream any of these guys. Any of these guys will be interchangeable. Derek Carr's still there.
Sure is.
I've got 2 picks left. Sean, you've got what, 3 picks left?
Yep, 2 bench spots and a defense.
So
I'm going to take Rondale Moore. Somebody on the outside, especially since they let, Fitz retired, Drake's gone. Hopkins is going to see nothing but double teams for the first 6 weeks. Somebody who watched him in college, he's a lot better than I think most people believe because he played at Purdue. I don't think a lot of people saw him unless they watch a lot of Big Ten football, but he's the genuine article.
Doug, are you going to get your boy Elijah Moore?
I already did.
You did? So what's your obsession with New York Jets wide receivers this year?
Because I think the Jets offense is a lot better than people think it is. I'm not saying it's
I've got a theory. I got a theory. You want to know what it is?
Go ahead.
I think it all goes back to the Heidi game between the Raiders and the Jets back in 1968.
The greatest finish nobody ever saw. But no, the Jets offense is better, and I think Elijah Moore is going to have a better season. I'm not going to say he's going to be a top 10 receiver, but I think he's a lot better than people think they are. And I think like I said, I think Zach Wilson is a little bit better than people think he is. I thought they all had a pretty decent offensively. The Jets had a pretty good preseason, and I liked what I saw. So, yep, that's my obsession.
Obsession.
Man.
I mean, Elijah Moore and Darnell Mooney are the two that intrigue me this season as far as wide receivers and how well they're going to do this season. Don't anybody just grab up and say anything after I said that.
Well, I'm just realizing how bad my team stinks right now. So,
Yeah, and I'm staring at defenses.
Don't you have a defense? Oh, no, you don't.
Nope, didn't take one yet.
Well, they're really interchangeable now. I'm almost thinking about
they were
one and hoping that they're the best.
I'm going to take the Chargers just because they can't be as unlucky as they were last year, especially inside the red zone. And I know they have to play the Chiefs twice, and the Raiders, Broncos should be better, but the rest of their schedule is actually pretty soft.
I'll end up having to go with the defense. I don't know what to make of. The thing about defense is there's always a couple that pop up that you're like, damn, man, I can't. They're good this year.
Yep, super streamable.
I see our boy Irv Smith has been already ruled out for week.
Yeah, I think he's done for the year. Didn't they say?
No, I don't
or
think
did
so.
No? Okay.
But he's not going to play week 1. He had some kind of minor surgery, and they're hoping week 2, but it sounds like to me he'll be out like 3-4 weeks. So somebody auto drafted him, I believe, because he was going much higher. I don't know. People were insanely. What is it? Why is nobody on OJ Howard? Can you figure that one out?
I think people have gotten burned by him a few too many times because he was supposed to be, Kelsey.
I know, but he got to play with Brady, man. He got hurt.
No, yeah, that's true. I agree.
I don't know. Not that I'm going to draft him, but I'm definitely going to monitor him. I'm just going to see where he leads me. I guess I'll have to go defenses next. Pick the best one available. New Orleans, Chicago, Green Bay had a good defense last year. I think we get scared away from them because we're worried that they're not going to keep the score down because their offense can score in bunches. But
right.
Man, I'm telling you right now, dude, these guys right here intrigue me. And that's the defense I'm going to keep an eye on all year long. You see what I'm circling?
I see what you're circling.
I want to see if guys bite kneecaps might be in a thing that helps out. That guy's a defensive minded guy. I would think their defense is going to be much better.
That's the reason.
I'm not going to draft them because they don't have a very good matchup that first week, but I'll be interested to see what ends up happening there. The Saints have a decent defense, but my God, they're going to play. What's their nuts in the Green Bay in the first week?
Nope.
The other one, Chicago's got to go to the Rams. So I know that you love your boy Bridgewater, but I'm going to take a risk with the Giants defense in the first week at home against Denver.
Their defense is very good. Very, very underappreciated as well.
That's the one I've had my eyes on in most of these drafts. If I get to my defense and there's nothing there, I go Giants. So my next thing that I will be doing is looking for basically the best player available when it comes back to me. And I don't know if there is a best fit player available. I think they're all taken. I do have my eye on one guy. I won't say anything because Steven might be watching the YouTube feed. So he's got back-to-back picks. So I see a guy that's still there that intrigues me. You think we'll see a resurgence from this guy, James White?
He's a guy I've had. You said the cup of coffee thing with I don't remember who it was I drafted, but you said the cup of coffee thing with Hardman. James White's there too, man. I've streamed that guy a handful of times, and every time I've regretted it. So he's in my burn book.
Here, I wouldn't do it, but I'm seriously thinking about keeping an eye on him for tonight's draft because it's such a deep draft in PPR, and that's my only reasoning for it. Let's see, did he take him? He did not take him. I'm gonna go with Russell Gage.
That's intriguing.
Essentially the number 2 guy in Atlanta. He's going low. I'm really surprised how low he's going. Tell you another guy that I'll throw out there for y'all that since I'm out of this draft now, that makes me wonder, could he be something? Would be well, first of all, Troutman got injured, so the tight end, is he already gone? No, Jawan Johnson. That guy intrigues me. Cole Kmet, once Ding Dong gets out of the way and lets a real quarterback play, and then if wide receivers, dude, Emmanuel Sanders sitting there in Buffalo as a possession receivers, maybe not in our league because it's a half point, but a full point PPR. That guy's intriguing because I think he's going to get like 30 yards a game, but it'll be off of 7 catches. He's going to be a better version of Cole Beasley, and he'll probably be vaccinated.
I was just about to. You did it before I could get there. You bastard.
So you are going. Brian said you allowed Will and said, "No, dude, I sent that to you. You just never clicked it, and I'm not your babysitters." I'm like, I'm tired of sending these damn invitations. Everyone goes, "Oh, can you send it again?" And I'm looking at the feed, and it's like three messages up from where I just sent it to you. But anywho,
I don't particularly like taking handcuffs, but if the worst were to happen and my first running back goes down, this guy was money last year. So McKissick.
Don't you have Gibson?
Yep, I do.
Then I like that pick.
So, just seems prudent.
If you don't have Gibson, I hate that pick.
Yep. Yeah, that's like, you're gonna spend a 12th round pick on Chuba Hubbard if you didn't draft McCaffrey. Why? Just pick him up.
So let's take a look at start with Doug's team, Doug's dandy team. See what he's got going on here. I'm gonna move this down so we can see everyone's team. All right. Justin Herbert, Terry McLaurin, Higgins, Jones, Eckler. Doug, what do you like and what do you like? Dude, what was I doing?
Of course, I'm going to like Jones. I like McLaurin, obviously, and Eckler. I don't know. I'm kind of questioning Claypool. I don't know why I did that. But besides that, I like my team.
All right, let's look at Sean's team.
No, we don't have to look at Sean's team.
Sure.
I'm joking.
It's there's a lot of variance. I wouldn't say there's as many sure things as I would normally like, but there's a few guys that if they pop, where I drafted them could be incredible value, especially Hurts, Judy, Kittle. I mean, I've seen Kittle going as like the 5th tight end, which blows my mind.
Yeah, that's
I think everybody's just forgetting that how good he is because he basically didn't play last year. I mean, I had him. He got hurt week 1, came back a couple times, but he was never really 100% at any point.
He was a guy that I would have liked to have had, but these tight ends keep going so early that I'm just like, man, I can't commit myself. There's there's a couple of leagues that I took Pitts instead, and I think I might live to regret that. He's just so damn consistent. It's like having an extra wide receiver in your offense.
Yep.
My prediction is this guy's gone before the season starts off your roster. McCall Harbin.
You could be right about that.
If he's not, he's gone after week 1 because you're gonna be like two targets, 1 catch for 17 yards. What the hell? But he like returned a punt for a touchdown that you don't get points for.
Well, I tell you about Sean's team. It's a feast or famine team. Either you're 100% right, or it could be 100% wrong.
Yeah, that's my wife would tell you that the latter is more likely.
Oh,
I'm glad I didn't.
Well, I just didn't want you to ever take 25 years to win again. That was my concern. I'm
glad I didn't actually draft him because that was the whole point of my team name. I was gonna like think about drafting Jameis, but nah, I'm not drafting Jameis. He's gonna throw a couple of pick sixes in week 1, and his ass will be sitting on the bench. I like my core: Justin Jefferson, Metcalf, Cook, Sanders. I do think there's some value in Gesicki. DJ Moore I like, and I like a lot of the running backs and whatnot. Obviously, my quarterback's a big question mark. I'm going to have my boy Mac Jones in there starting week 1 against the Dolphins, but he will be at home, and I'll take my chances with that. I like my team all together. I just wish I think I probably misread the draft, and when I took DK Metcalf with the number 3 pick, I probably should have went running back instead, because then by the time it got to me again, the running backs were depleted. Miles Sanders was the best running back available. That was round 4. So I don't know where I'm drafting tonight, but I have to keep that in mind. I'm going to be in a 12-man league. I better get my two running backs in the first 3 picks, because I was hoping someone of like the Chris Carson type ilk would fall there in the 4th round, and he just didn't. And Miles Sanders to me is a bit of a stretch as the 4th round guy, but if I didn't get him, I mean, I was going to literally be out there starting, Michael Carter week 1. Let's take a look at a couple of the other teams. See Steven's team. The hell he drafted Brady. That had to been an auto draft. Decent.
Well, we don't need to ask him whether he was on auto draft or live or not, because we saw how that worked out on Sunday.
Leave that alone. Anytime you got McCaffrey, you're gonna like the backfield. Najee Harris is a big question mark. He could pay high dividends. His flexes, they're guys that I think you'll be able to rely on decent production. So he's going to need big time production out of Christian McCaffrey every week and Kyle Pitts every week to be able to score a lot of points, because those are 2 of his top picks. When he drafted Pitts, I was seriously thinking about drafting. I think Pitts and Kittle were still there, and I was about to make that pick, and then they both went. I was like, well, to hell with that. I'm not going to be involved in this. The one guy I didn't get this draft season, I'm probably going to earmark for tonight, is Hawkinson. I do think that he's got a very good chance of being very good this year. I was surprised as many people drafted him as high as they did.
Yeah, that's the danger with Hawkinson. Don't draft him too high. Don't draft him until, I would say, like, if he's unless you think somebody's going to take him, I wouldn't touch him till maybe the 7th round, 7th or 8th round, maybe.
Tom's got a pretty decent team. I don't know when he drafted Mahomes. Does it tell me? Drafted 18th overall. Wow.
That's high.
I think if he would have went a different position, Tom would have a really good team right now. Like if you take Mahomes out of his lineup and put in one of the top running backs, that would be a really good team right now.
Yeah, I jumped on my chair when I saw him do that too, because it made my running backs easier.
He does. And that's what I'm banking on tonight. Somebody's going to draft Mahomes in a 12-man draft. Some idiot's going to draft him in the first round.
And how many times has this happened in our mock drafts through the last week? Somebody grabbing Mahomes like that.
And here comes Captain Auto Draft. He hasn't drafted live yet, which worries me because he's supposed to be on the damn kickoff show where we're going to be talking fantasy. And you're not even showing up. Oh my God, what have I done here? But I have a good backup plan, so that'll be okay. But I mean, he's got a decent team, but he got auto drafted, and to me, that's like half the fun.
Yeah.
See what Carr was auto drafted too. His running back situation is not good. Mike Davis and Melvin Gordon. Those are 1 and 2. The first running back. I don't know if he auto drafted the entire time. He might have auto drafted towards the end because I feel like that the computer would have drafted better. But his first running back was drafted 50th overall with Mike Davis. Melvin,
that's rough.
First, he's not even going to be the starter.
Sonny Michel also not the starter. Boy, that's rough.
His running backs are done. So we've already eliminated him from winning the trade.
That's a guy you can get Diggs for a mid-tier running back from. So,
that is just terrible. Now Bobby's had pretty good drafts. Let's see what he's got. That's a good team.
Yep,
that's a very good team.
I like Bobby Trees with Matt Stafford because he loves those guys who can catch that 7-yard in route. Him and Cup both could have that value.
Yeah, that's a really good. Swift obviously has to stay healthy, but even still, you can slide Edmonds up there, and he's got decent depth for a flex on his bench. He can, DJ Chark. We still don't know what that's going to look like. DJ Chark comes out like gangbusters like a couple of years ago because he essentially didn't play much at all last year. And he gets a quarterback who actually has an arm now. That could be interesting. That's probably enough. I'll go ahead and stop share. So this is what we're playing for, the right to put our name on the trophy here. And the winner's also going to get a smaller version sent to them with the year on it. And Sean is 2020 champion. I have to be careful. A shoebox is holding this damn thing up. This thing's heavy.
Careful.
That's why I've had it back over here the whole time because I'm just waiting to come in one morning. It was like crushed. I've won it 14, 15, and 16. Trosh won it in 17. And I won it in 18. And then Doug in 19 and Sean in 20. So that's where we're at on that. That's what we're looking at for the championship. Well, that's going to about do it. What is your walk-off for the day? Doug, I'll start with you.
My walk-off today is, God, I hope this team doesn't suck as bad as the other ones do.
Sean, what is your walk-off?
My walk-off is a really good college football game tonight. UAB Jacksonville State. For people who don't, watch Conference USA as much as I do, living in Murfreesboro and watching all of MTSU's games. UAB is the best team from a mid-major that you've never heard of. And my upset prediction, since you asked for my pick against the spread, I'm going to take Minnesota to cover the 14 against Ohio State. CJ Stroud's first start. It's in Minneapolis at First Bank, and Minnesota's got a very, very veteran team. And the whole nation's going to find out how good Mohamed Ibrahim is. You and I talked about him when we did their preview. He might be the best running back in all of college football, and I don't think anybody's talking about him. And you're going to see it tomorrow night. Or not tomorrow night, Friday night, sorry.
Right. Let me see what I got here. Well, I'll add it here in a second. I might have to ask you again after the show. I might have to text you, but I'm trying to find it on this thing, and it's not playing nice. That game's on Thursday, right?
Is it Thursday? Okay, I couldn't remember if it was Thursday or Friday. There's so many games on Friday. It blew my mind when I went and looked them all up.
Yeah, I think it's the 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock big game on Fox. Yeah, college kickoff. Yep.
All right.
Or is it FS1? I'm not sure.
Right, I just added it. I've got an app now to be able to contract this, so I can just put them in as we do them. And I'm taking Florida State plus the 9.5 that they originally had back when it first started. So those will be the two picks. We will not have a show tomorrow. We won't have a show Friday. We will not have a show Saturday or Sunday or Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to be on a flight. I don't think I'm going to get back in time to do a show Tuesday. So Wednesday morning, a week from today, is when we'll start the football season. Our 8th football season here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. We'll be here Wednesday with Sean to do NFL predictions, Thursday with Joey to do NFL predictions, and Friday with Justin in Carr to do the same. And then Doug will be back with us on Monday. And we'll just have to get your NFL predictions in, Doug, because, of course, you're going to have one weekend advantage in front of everyone. I'm not taking Mahomes now because kneecap snapped off in the middle of the first quarter. So have a great day, y'all. Sean, I will see you Sunday. And I'm looking forward to it, my friend.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you, man. Travel safe. Looking forward to meeting KR, and we'll see everybody next time.
I'll meet you for breakfast around 6:35 Eastern or Central Time tomorrow morning. Okay.
Hey, that's not out of the realm of possibility. I'll keep you posted. Take it easy.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Can I get another cigarette, please? Can I get another cigarette, please? Yeah, I know I live to regret it. Just give me another cigarette.